So look at that. We're live. Oh, we're supposed to shut the door. Whatever. All right, introduce
Should
us.
we just leave the door open?
Yeah, just whatever.
You're listening to the Asugo Comic Shop Does a Podcast with me, Papa Z. Lee.
I'm the employee of the month. This month. Evan, he is currently busy at the moment. He's not able to
He's
join
occupied
us.
with his excellent 10 out of 10 stars customer service.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Today we're talking about Moon Knight. Should we just dive right into
Moon
that?
Knight.
And then later you guys went to some convention.
Oh, yeah, we went
this
to the
past
Rochester
weekend.
Independent Comics Expo over the weekend, and
Yep.
great event. Great indie comics focused, creator focused event. Those are really the events that I get excited about. I don't get excited about like cosplayers and like
Sure.
the movie studio being there and promoting and like handing out T-shirts and stuff like that. I'm not into that stuff.
No?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but like I like
Just
I
a
like
little.
I like seeing
Just
the
a little,
creatives
yeah.
and the people who are actually making the books and coming up with the ideas and executing and
Sure,
selling
sure,
and
sure.
talking about their dreams and stuff like that. That's way more exciting to me. And we'll get into that a little bit later. And of course, I'm one of those people too.
You are. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I even had a new thing this year. I didn't think I had something new, but I did have something new.
Very
but,
cool. Yeah, we'll talk a bit about that later on when Evan joins us. Hey, my mom just commented, "Congrats, Lucas. Mommy is so proud of you for being I knew you were destined for big things. Thank you, Mom.
That's right.
Thank you for the support. Appreciate that."
So,
But
yeah, go
let's talk Moon Knight. We'll talk a bit about the character itself. I have never read a Moon Knight comic in my life, so you're gonna have to fill me in. Tell me a bit about the character, because I feel like with the show, we don't really get.
It's
We don't.
Stephen Grant.
Obviously, we don't get. We don't get the whole picture. So I'm not even.
There's
even
not a whole lot
after
there.
watching the first episode, I'm still like, who?
I-
Who is this superhero type of?
I'm guilty
guy.
of the moon. I bought the Bendis and Malieve Moon Knight when
Mhm.
that was coming out and read a little bit of it, and I think I liked it a little bit, but
You
but
think?
I didn't finish it up. Just because I bought it on the strength of the Daredevil Bendis and Malieve stuff that they did, because I
Okay.
really like that
I never
series.
read that.
That was one of my favorites when like Punisher was coming out and,
Sure,
and
sure.
stuff too with Garth Ennis.
Yep.
One of the books I always picked up. But I'm guilty of buying the Moon Knight. There's a big collection. I think I got volume 2 or 3 where Bill Sienkiewicz, who's like one of my favorite artists ever.
Yeah, he's good.
And it's the one where he starts to break away from his traditional style, where he's kind of working more like Neil Adams. And there's a lot more texture, a lot more splatter, a lot more
Okay.
dynamic lines and abstraction. It's kind of where he first broke out and became the Bill Sienkiewicz that we all know and love today. And of course, he's still evolving.
Yeah,
But
I follow him on Instagram and
just
Twitter. I think
super cool dude.
he always
Super
posts
cool
amazing
dude.
artwork.
Super inspirational, because he can go from super loose to super tight to like
Yep.
jump into all different mediums. And then he's also like a chemist too, so like he'll like introduce bleach and stuff into his artwork, and he'll
That's
know
weird.
what it will do to certain paints and pigments, and he like knows how to achieve like effects that you could only do digitally,
Okay.
except he's doing it like through chemistry.
Okay.
It-
Well, that's interesting.
It's wild, and he does digital stuff too, so he's just all over the place. He's just a really interesting person. He's like one of my art heroes,
Okay.
Bill Sienkiewicz. But I have the that volume. There's a great shot of him like swinging in between some buildings. There's just this great abstract building behind him, and he's swinging across 2 pages. But as far as Moon Knight himself, I don't know a ton
You don't know a ton either.
about the character. I could read this beautiful printout that we have in front of us, if you like.
Sure.
This is what everybody tunes in for.
I'm not here for 30 seconds and Lucas steals my headphones.
Is that what happened?
Deal
Yes.
with it, dude. I don't know.
Oh, are those the bad ones that I brought in?
I don't know.
No, well, I don't.
Lucas
think- I
just
didn't see
stole
those
my
photos.
headphones, though. So.
They were in front of me. What do you want me to do?
Well, because I was making sure audio was good earlier.
Well, anyway, Moon Knight is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics, created by writer Doug Mensch and artist Don Perlin.
Dandy Don Perlin.
The character first appeared in Werewolf by Night, number 31, August 1975, which is a good era to be breaking out of in Marvel, because that's kind of when the inmates were running the prison. Because it was just a lot of chaos at Marvel at that time, so a lot of cool stuff was able to be to be achieved at that
So they
time
were like
by the
felons writing
creatives.
comic books back then.
No, it just means that like editorial wasn't super tight,
No,
or editorial
I know
or editorial
what you mean.
itself was a bit loose, and they could actually do some kind of more creative and wild stuff. It was also the 70s too, so
Everything was crazy and wild back then.
Before
A bit.
Don Perlin created Moon Knight, he killed 3 men. That's not true.
oh, you heard it here, folks.
That was a good joke. I just didn't want to laugh.
The son of a rabbi, Mark Spector served as a Marine and briefly as a CIA operative before becoming a mercenary alongside his friend Jean-Paul Frenchy Duchamp. During a job in Sudan,
You should
Spector
do-
is appalled when fellow
should
ruthless
do that.
mercenary Raoul Bushman attacks and kills archaeologist Dr. Al-Ran in front of the man's daughter and colleague, Marlene Al-Ran.
Uh-oh.
After fighting Bushman and being left for dead, a mortally wounded Spectre reaches Al-Ran's recently unearthed tomb and is placed before a statue of the Egyptian moon god Khonshu.
I can tell Lucas is really into this by the way he's gyrating up and down.
I just shake sometimes.
Yes. The Khonshu. Spectre dies, then suddenly
All right, all right.
revived.
I don't-
revives,
wait,
fully healed.
That's. I think. Yeah, we get the gist.
So-
do we?
so-
And actually, I kind of jumped into the middle of this. Aaron, you were saying you really don't know the Moon Knight character that well?
I don't know him super well. I bought a little bit of, I was telling Lucas, I bought a little bit of the Bendis and Malieve series when that came out on the strength of their Daredevil run, because I really enjoyed their Daredevil run, and it's same team.
Sure.
He is a character I don't know that much about either. That like visually, I think he's kind of a cool looking character. I know there's the Egyptian god angle. I know that there's a personality disorder angle.
And he's kind of a Batman-esque
Mm-hmm.
character in the Marvel universe in
A-
terms of
a-
how he operates.
A little bit. I think they always say like a more complex, mentally, whatever,
Fragmented,
fragmented. Yeah.
possibly.
And then the only thing I guess I know about Moon Knight too is just like all the beautiful art that's associated with Moon Knight.
Yeah, I was going off about Bill Sienkiewicz.
That he's like one of these characters that like, yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz, Stephen Platt. There's like a bunch of like really iconic comic artists that are drawn to this character for whatever
David
reason.
Finch.
David Finch. We're like, you really have to be at the top level of your game to do a Moon Knight comic because I think there's just such a rich history of like really beautiful artwork associated with this character. Whereas like a Captain America, there's some good art, there's some crappy art. He's been around forever, but I feel like every Moon Knight project that they put out is like you have to be the top, even though it's not the biggest A-list book. You have to be a really, really good artist to tackle this book because I think there's just a history of like it just being beautifully illustrated.
Yeah, the pedigree of the book is like it's like you better bring your A game, otherwise, the history will not view you favorably.
And Don Perlin will kill you.
He's probably dead.
He might be.
Jeez, poor Don Perlin.
Did we watch Moon Knight?
Rip.
I watched it. Have you watched it?
I did.
Yeah, that's why we're here. 'cause
Okay.
We don't watch the show. That's what we're talking about.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure. Sometimes I
All
don't
right,
watch.
Evan, give
things.
us your first thoughts here.
I was just very confused.
I
Confused
feel
old man.
I feel like it's comic book
It
for
is.
you.
I understand that again. We're getting the origins of this character where there's different voices that are talking to him. He's waking up in different places. Like he's like having these out
Wakes
of.
up in another country.
He wakes up in another country. Yes.
Like losing days.
Which I thought was a little corny too. That like you're going to tell me with your technology in your phone that you can't figure out that it's Sunday and not Friday before you go out to your dinner date. Some of the time shift, time jump stuff I thought was a little bit fragmented, which I guess is how maybe they wanted to present it that way to make it more confusing as to like what is going on.
Right.
But I thought it was a little, I don't know. I liked the reveal of him in costume at the end, fighting the big wolf dog, whatever that was, Egyptian hound.
Yeah.
What was the name of that thing? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'd have to watch
It
it
just
again.
for me it was a difficult standalone issue of episode of something to watch that like I wish there were a couple more that we had under a belt
Yeah.
to kind of get a better sense of like where this character is going.
Mm-hmm.
The weird cell phone that he finds, the fact that it's implied that he's like possibly living multiple lives.
Well, yeah, I think that's his disorder.
Yeah. But again, it's very fragmented in how it's presented, and I understand that that's probably done on purpose because
It is.
it wants to be a little bit disorienting to you, but also it leaves me a confused old man, I guess, and that's my hot take.
That's who you are.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot to explain in that first episode, and it doesn't do a whole lot in that first episode except make you empathize with the character of Stephen Grant, of like kind of going through
Stephen
his
with
life.
a V.
Yes. And seeing like his plight and like how he's kind of the underdog, and when things go a little bit for him, then they go away. Some good complexity in there, and we were going to talk a bit about Ethan Hawke, his villain character
Right.
with the glass slippers. What'd you guys think of that?
That's like the opening hook, right? I mean,
Actually, yeah, I kind of
we see this we don't now we know it's Ethan Hawke. It's not revealed, but he breaks glass and he puts it in his slippers and he wears them. He walks around with glass in his shoes, which seems like it'd be very painful and uncomfortable. But I guess he just does not care. And
I kind of forgot about that little beginning segment.
yeah, it's a weird opening hook for this show. I feel
It's something about like pain and penance, because he's all about like goodness and good or evil. It's like everything has to be black or white.
right.
So is he trying to atone for some
He-
great?
I mean, he
thing.
does. It does seem like he kills people. So
Just
Well,
like Don Perlin.
well, sure.
Poor Don Perlin.
A lot of Don Perlin
Rip
slander.
Don Pearl.
I guess he does. It does kill people with those scales on there.
Yeah,
Spoiler
which is
alert.
well, obviously we're doing a spoiler review, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, tune off if you don't want to tune in. Still,
No one's watching.
Tune
my
in while
mom
you eat your
is.
tuna.
Oh, Lucas's mom.
she said congrats. I'm on Employee of the Month.
Oh,
So
well,
I don't think even my wife is listening to this one.
she has no interest in Moon Knight.
No, she's actually watching Moon Knight with me. She doesn't watch
Oh.
all of the shows with me, but she wanted to see Moon Knight.
I love Oscar Isaac. First off, he's
Yeah.
a hunk. He's a great actor.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Hunk. On
10 out of 10, huh?
on a hunk scale, and then as an actor, he's fantastic. Same with Ethan Hawke. I think he's a hunk, and also a fantastic actor.
He's also a graphic novel writer. He did a graphic novel with another. His name is Greg. I can't remember his last name.
It wasn't Don Perlin, was it?
No, it wasn't Don Perlin. But they did a fantastic book. Teresa is actually reading it at home.
She's listening.
Beautifully illustrated. Oh yeah, she is listening. Maybe she could take a look at that book and let me know what the title of that is. But it's beautifully illustrated. It's like
Meadowlark.
Meadowlark. It's like a father and son kind of story about crime and such. But beautifully illustrated. Yeah, Ethan Hawke is in this with the shoes. There's more to it. There's more to it. It's just like a little tease. All this different stuff that pops up.
Which I think
Right.
is why I wasn't super crazed about it. That like you're world building,
Yes.
but you're world building a very nuanced, complicated character with multiple personalities and time shifts, and like it's confusing. And I'm a confused old man.
Yes.
I saw something that I thought of too while I was watching it. The Eastern European town that he wakes up in, is that Latveria?
Oh, maybe.
Uh,
I doubt it, but
but that
maybe.
could be a thing, I guess.
Could be.
It could be like right under Doctor Doom's nose.
It,
And we don't
it
even
could
know.
be. It very well could be.
That would be cool if it was, but if not, it's just another. What was it? What were the Accords? The Sokovia Accords? Is it just back in
Yeah,
like another made up Eastern European place?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Ethan Hawke's character, it seems like he's running some sort of cult.
Yes.
And he plays the part pretty well so far, I think. I mean,
He's a good actor.
he's a great actor. I love Ethan Hawke. And we get
Loved
some,
him in Gattaca.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's good.
The first time I saw him in anything was Boyhood, which great film.
The first time you ever saw him in anything was Boyhood.
Mm-hmm.
That came out like
Not too long ago.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time. I was like, oh yeah, he's cool. But I think so far as a villain, he seems pretty menacing, and I'm excited to, see where that character goes and why he wants this, what's it called?
Scarab.
Scarab. Why he wants that. I assume that's how
That's the MacGuffin.
That's how he gets his powers, right? Oscar Isaac's character, Steven with a V. That's how he gets his powers.
He has to have the scarab.
I think
Could
so.
be. I just don't know.
I'm
I
pretty
I
sure.
can speculate.
Because I don't. Maybe I missed something, but I don't. I feel like it just showed up the scarab, like it was all of a sudden. Oh yeah, here's this thing, and
Yes,
Ethan
you're
Hawke's
right.
character wants it, and like that's we don't know why, and we don't know its purpose. Maybe that's not how he gets his power. Maybe it's some. I don't
It's
know,
another
some other
thing.
thing.
My take is that I feel like one of these voices is guiding him to this scarab. That like the voice inside him knows about the powers that this thing contains, and then when he's blacking out or whatever, it's he's
Right.
taking control of his body to bring him to this object because he feels like he should be the rightful
You know what would
holder
be
of
interesting?
said object.
If for like each episode they do a different personality. So this one we got Steven with a V. The next one we'll get a different
Stephen with a PH.
Steven with a PH.
You
But
know,
they
I-
do
I-
it from like a different perspective where maybe we just hear, Steven's voice where it's like a English accent, and we don't really see that character. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think you
I don't
might
know
be
if that's
onto
the
something. I
direction,
think we might get that.
Yeah, where it's like it's a different, character in a sense. But
Like
it's,
like that one season of Arrested Development, where it was like different episodes with different characters with overlapping storyline. You guys watch?
Yep,
you
yep,
guys,
yep, I
you guys
know.
watch
Yeah,
Arrested
I
I
Development?
don't watch anything.
I
that's
love
like the
David
fourth.
Cross on that show. He's amazing.
It's like the fourth episode or the fourth season, I believe, where they do that. Where
Yeah, it's one that
yeah.
came back on
Netflix.
Yeah.
My sister lives in the middle of nowhere,
Okay.
and she has two celebrity neighbors, Mark Ruffalo and Stephen Cross. Or
David Cross.
David Cross.
Are you serious?
yeah,
Those are
she
some
runs.
good guys
She
to
runs
be
into
around.
she runs into David Cross at the dump every once in a while.
I love that.
And then Mark Ruffalo, I believe, lives in the next town over, but she's done.
Are
my-
they besties?
No, they've only met a couple times, but like he's very involved in the community. I think I even told this on the podcast before. One of Mark Ruffalo's first movies apparently was shot in the Catskills when he was probably like your age, like 22 or something, and he thought it was
I'm
very
21.
well. He was a much more mature, old 22 or whatever, but he
He had
took
the
some.
puka
Of,
shell necklace, I believe.
he took some of that movie money and bought a house out there, and now that's just kind of where he resides part time.
Interesting.
He's a good dude, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll show up in Moon Knight.
maybe.
Maybe.
We can only hope, but I mean, his time's probably monopolized by She-Hulk coming out soon.
Yes. Which also.
I'm psyched for She-Hulk. Tatiana
Yeah,
Maslany, she's
that
a
looks
great
pretty good.
actress.
That looks
I was just about to ask. Oh, he's in She-Hulk. Of course, he's in She-Hulk. That was going to be the dumbest question.
Did
I
you
could
see the promo for that too,
No.
where it's like 1970s a little bit, where it's Tatiana Maslany and him kind of in like 70s clothes, and it's like a lawyer commercial. They're doing like a little bit of a lawyer commercial for
right.
that, and Mark Ruffalo is kind of dressed up like how Bill Bixby was dressed up in the original Hulk series.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Moon Knight, I really like. I think it's going to be more of a character study with Moon Knight. Where Loki was more of a, I guess a not multi-dimensional.
well, that was a character study too, Loki.
In a ways, but I really feel like the main focus of this season is going to be Moon Knight. Whereas like WandaVision, you had all these different. It was a different type of story.
Is this another 8-episode series?
Six.
I think-
6 episodes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's
What?
pretty tight,
Mm-hmm.
pretty
Yeah,
laser
yeah,
focused.
And I know Oscar Isaac said, I don't know if they'll do another season or what. He's like, when we made this, we were just focusing on this, which I think that's pretty cool. So
I think that's smart to do that.
I'm sure he'll pop up in some movies as well and stuff like that.
If they get like the Marvel Knights up off the ground, like if they get like,
Well, I think that's what they're leading towards with these because
if they get Blade and
Blade, you got Blade, yeah, exactly.
put Doctor Strange in with them.
That'd be
If
cool.
he's still kicking.
I'm sure he'll be
I hope
kicking
so.
still.
I hope so. But I mean, they killed him in the comics, so you don't know.
Well,
what-
did.
They kill everyone in the comics. I don't know.
That
It's
is
a
true.
lady doctor right now. It's his
Clea,
yeah.
his student / love interest, longtime love interest from the dark
seems pretty-
dimension.
Ooh.
Seems pretty controversial.
What?
Student / love interest.
Well, he taught her about the mystic arts.
No, I know. I'm just teasing.
Taught her how to make sweet love.
Wow, Evan.
Um,
I'm not going to turn.
I
on
like
your
that book too.
camera.
That Doctor Doom, after Strange died, came looking for the Sorcerer Supreme title. That he and I thought that was really weird that Doctor Doom would want the title of Sorcerer Supreme, but also I guess it's Doctor Doom. He wants everything, right?
He's
well,
just
well,
never
he's
satisfied.
got the thing about Doctor Doom is like he's not like he's not like Iron Man where he has the best tech, and he's not like Doctor Strange where he has the best magic.
He does have
he's-
magic,
but he's
so-
like right behind him. He's like right behind, and he's not the smartest guy like Reed Richards, but he's right behind him. That's what makes him, because he's not the best at any of those things, but he's like if those guys are all 10s, he's like a solid 8 across the board on all these and a whole bunch of other things.
Not even a 9. Damn.
Well, I don't know. He does get beat a lot.
That's true.
He takes a lot of L's, that's for sure.
Take a lot of L's.
Poor Victor.
So what did we not like about this episode of Moon Knight?
I just need more information.
Yes.
I don't know. For me, it intrigued me. Like, I'm fine with not. Obviously, you don't want to know everything about the show within the first episode, so it's, there's going to be a lot of reveals about, who this character is as a, and, who Ethan Hawke's character is and who else, right?
Who is Ethan Hawke's character? Is that based on a comic villain?
It's Harrow. It is. I think
Probably.
it's. I think like what Marvel does with a lot of things, they're kind of combining a lot of characters into a kind of a new character, but it fulfills the role of other characters. I think there was a character named Harrow in the books. This is one of those things where I need to dig in and read a
I
little
honestly
bit.
don't. Again, it's deep waters on this one that I don't. I know the character. For me, Moon Knight is more of an iconic art related thing
Yes.
because I feel like all the most brilliant artists of their particular generation take a stab at Moon Knight for whatever reason. Like that's just a character that where you have to have really great visual storytelling skills in order to do that character justice based off of its history. But I don't know a lot of the actual. I mean, the writing could be fantastic, but I'm not super familiar with this character beyond just Aaron and I'll geek out over pages of a Bill Sienkiewicz or
Yeah.
whatever, where we're just like, look at these beautiful pages, look at these beautiful pages. But I'm not necessarily reading a long continued story of Moon Knight. I don't know.
So what did you not like about this episode, though?
I was confused. Oh, so
was-
That's
okay.
the point.
So what I didn't like some of the time shift stuff. Like I thought it was very peculiar, like some of the cuts. And I know you're trying to create this element of confusion, but like the fact that like he's being pursued by the Ethan Hawke villain, and then everybody at the museum is revealed to be part of his goon squad, and then it's just like, let him go, and then all of a sudden he's just doing inventory in the gift shop. And you're like, wouldn't you want to just run out of that building because you're being chased by this big goon?
Right.
The sequence of where like again he's in this Eastern European country with this weird culty type thing, and he's got the scarab, and then all of a sudden he's back at home, and like he's confused on the dates and times and all of that, which just seemed very contrived and very like is he that confused that like he can't figure out what day it is within
Well,
an hour's worth of time? I don't know, because I would think that this stuff happens to him all the time too, and he seemed to be very naive about like all of I don't know. And again, it's you're setting up a very complex character, and you have
Yeah.
6 episodes to do that. I guess I would want to start on a slow burn and just be like, let's get to know this character. Let's throw a couple weird things in there. And then by the end, maybe we realize that the narrator, and for instance, this character is unreliable. Similar to how your comic, zombie comic is. We're like, set it up a little bit where all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a second. There's something is not right as it seems with this character. And like, there's like, which I guess would be just a slower burn, and maybe you can't do that with 6 episodes. Maybe you just need to introduce all of this all at once, which just seems a little overwhelming to me and a little choppy. That doesn't mean that the next couple episodes aren't going to be great. I feel like you tried to establish a lot with the different personality quirks in here. I love the Moon Knight reveal at the end where he's beating up the Hellhound or whatever. But it's just he's a confusing character to. You also, I don't feel like I'm rooting for him at this point in time.
Oh,
that
I
he's like,
do.
Yeah,
I'm 100% behind him.
really.
Yeah.
Why?
I think he's very sympathetic. I think you even said that, where
Yeah.
you know, because at least this personality, like I said, I think maybe in the next episode we'll see a different personality of
What I'm
of
hoping to
his.
see is that we see Mark Spector next episode, and we see all the gaps that we missed
That I think that'd be cool. I was thinking the same thing.
in this episode, and
Because,
then
like,
it'll paint a complete picture, and we'll know what's
Right.
happening, and now we can just go on the adventure.
Right, because I mean, there's are times, especially in the when he's in Europe, where he like I don't know, he kills people. It looks like he does, at least knocks them out. And,
I interpreted that as he killed people.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I
The
don't
ice
know.
cream truck. Come on.
well, no, I'm talking about before that.
Oh yeah.
When
yeah.
when he's like trying to get away from the cold people, when Ethan Hawke's character is like, oh yeah, this guy, he's not a part of us. He, whatever. And then it cuts to black, and then it's like there's like a bunch of like dead people around him, I guess, or people that are knocked out.
And actually, to Aaron's point, with how the ice cream truck sequence went, yeah, he has no problem killing people, and that's
Yeah.
probably what happens before, even though it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit less conclusive.
People definitely
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Mark Spector is a mercenary in the comics, so
I don't know. So I think, like I said, at least this part of his character is pretty sympathetic. Where you have this confused guy who's obviously has some mental issues, and he seems like he just cannot get his life together no matter how hard he tries. Things just don't go his way, and now he's got this alter ego where he's a superhero,
What's
or I
the,
guess an anti-hero.
what's the meaning of the goldfish with one fin?
I think
I think that was
that-
to just show that his life is a simulation that keeps being recreated. I think that's what that was about, because the goldfish was killed or whatever, and then they just got a new goldfish because they're just trying to make him think that everything's fine.
who's trying to make him think that though?
Probably Mark Spector.
So one of his alter egos.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
remember, because he went to the store and the lady was
Ooh.
like, "You've already been in here."
Right. Ooh, I didn't think about that. Maybe there's some
Oh.
like power dynamic between his personalities, where one knows about that. He's not always in control, and obviously this character Stephen with a V does not, and he's always like he's always confused. But I don't know. I thought he was a very sympathetic character.
Actually, Aaron,
and-
I really like that. That was actually a very interesting insight, I think, there.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool if there's some power dynamic between his personalities.
It's like Bruce Banner and the Hulk, right? Like they want to be in charge, and they each have their strengths.
Well, I mean, in this case, yeah, but Stephen with a V doesn't even know about his other personalities.
Well, he's learning, I think. And there's
Yes,
a
yes,
confrontation
yes.
between him and
Right,
and
right.
Mark in the mirror at the end to
How many-
save him
how
from
many-
the hounds.
Because what is it? Split personality disorder? I think that's what it's called.
I think now it's called dissociative identity disorder.
Yes.
And in the comics, there's even more of them too. Like
Right. So I wonder if there'll be more.
like if you take a look at this issue here, you'll see he's got the Wolverine claws on one hand. He's got the Spider-Man glove, and then he's on the Captain America shield. So in addition to those classic Moon Knight personalities, he also takes on Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America personalities
That's pretty sweet.
in this.
Is he also wearing Superman's underwear on the outside of his costume?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's
He's got a
it's
Batman logo.
it-
on
it's
the
just
front of
white
his
long
chest, too,
johns.
actually.
But yeah, the artwork in this looks fantastic too. I mean, take a look at that. Alex
Aaron's,
Malieve.
Aaron's flipping through a book now.
Yeah, we can make this the whole show.
Oh yeah.
But I'm
Sure you
intrigued
could.
by it. I liked Khonshu when Khonshu popped up, which is the kind of like the bird Moon Knight deity type character. You know what I'm talking about? The kind of freaky looking thing.
No. Yes, I do. Now I do.
I like the design of that.
I thought that. Yeah, I mean, he seemed very menacing, and it's like, ooh,
Kind of
what is
creepy. I'd
this?
like some more of that.
Take these scissors.
Before you,
They're freaking me out.
before you turn into Don Perlin and just start killing people.
Don Perlin.
Oh gosh. Why are we still talking about Don Perlman? Oh,
That poor guy.
Poor,
But
poor artist.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. I
Me
think
too.
we need more information.
Right. I think this will
it's
be
a
one of those
mystery.
shows where you can rewatch and be like and pick up more.
Definitely.
I'm sure.
clues.
One of the things I did like, visually storytelling wise, was all of the use of reflections and mirrors and
Yeah, yes,
multiples
yes.
of things, which I think takes you into a, the multi-dimensional character that this guy is, of just realities being fragmented and reflected in different ways. I feel like there was a lot of use of
Especially in the final scene when he's in the bathroom.
but even before
Yeah,
that, I
you
felt
know.
like there was plenty of that. I think that the
Yeah.
bathroom scene was just like a very intense version of the little things that you had seen throughout the show, that kind of triggered that same note. So
He also is like hallucinating too with the bird guy you were talking about.
But is he? I think that's the main kind of crux of the character. Is he crazy? Does Khonshu exist? Like
Well, I
it's,
mean,
it's just all these questions, and you have to just keep watching to confirm or deny them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of puzzle pieces here that we don't have yet. So
I feel like we can do another episode on this too as we find out more, or at least
we should
do an
do
update.
we should do a episode in like 5 weeks when
When it
it's
ends.
over.
Yeah,
and then
a
we
beginning and then an end.
Yeah,
I
that'd
can't
be
watch
cool.
6 episodes of something.
Dude, you gotta.
What about Frasier?
I don't watch Frasier.
Oh, you don't?
No,
What about Cheers?
I don't watch Cheers.
What about-
Do you
what
watch
about-
Why are you
Cheers,
bringing up
Lucas?
sitcoms from the 80s?
What about Dallas?
Who shot JR? We'll never know.
We'll never
never know.
I heard it was the baby from The Simpsons.
I heard it was Tupac.
Matt.
But anyway, do we have any closing comments on Moon Knight?
I think so far, it is my second favorite MCU show.
Really?
Yes.
What's your favorite?
Loki?
Oh, so you have really bad taste.
I
No,
do-
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I do. I love Loki. I really, because before I watched Loki, and I think maybe I said this, I don't know, a little while ago on the podcast. I never really cared about the character of Loki. Like everyone always said, once Avengers came out, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's the best MCU villain." And I was like, "Yeah, he's whatever. He's fine. I don't care really." But then Loki hit, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this character's sweet," because it's not the same Loki that's from the MCU that we know. Really, it's a different.
It's a more layered, more sympathetic Loki that's presented in the,
Right,
in the
yeah,
series,
yeah.
rather than the scenery chewing, mustache twirling Loki
Right.
from the Thor movies and
Yeah.
the first Avengers movie.
I did like Loki in Thor Ragnarok too, but the Loki, I don't know. I loved I thought it was just the most creative MCU show.
He
so
low
far.
key became
Low-key. I know. I keep wanting to say that
Lucas's,
too.
Favorite villain.
Yeah, sure, whatever. And then WandaVision is my third, and then I think we know what's my fourth. Was there another one too? Am I
No.
missing one? Dang.
Do you have any closing thoughts there, Evan?
Nope. I kind
Are-
of said my piece, I think. I think that there were some pieces that were very interesting. The story was very confusing to me. Well, I also understand that that's just the nature of this very complex character that you can't really introduce in 42 minutes. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I'll watch another episode. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll be watching as we go along. All right, so I want to segue here before we get too far gone.
Yes.
So Evan and I went to an event in Rochester over the weekend. It's called the Rochester Independent Comics Expo. I've been twice before. A great event organized by Francis. I can't remember her last name. I think
Francis
maybe her
Ford
last name is
Coppola?
Chow, and Tom Lake. Great organizers, and they had a gentleman helping them this time too that was taking photos with the curly black hair. Really nice guy.
Lucas, this guy had the best head of hair I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
More impressive than this actual comics expo, which was tremendous. This gentleman's head of hair was like epic.
You know who has the best set of hair I've ever seen?
It's not me.
It's you.
It took all of every fiber of my being for me to not run my fingers through this gentleman's hair. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And honestly,
glad you didn't.
That's the biggest takeaway from this event was whatever his name was and his beautiful head of hair. I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm very distracted. Back to you with Rice.
Yeah, so I've been twice before. The
weird
first time
detour.
it was in the back of Swoleburger, which is a barcade out in Rochester, which we also went
We
to.
went to that too. That was very fun.
Yeah, we played the X-Men arcade game. Have to that's out there.
Lucas, you would have liked this place. A bunch of like pinball arcade games, fun little bar, good food, good burgers.
Yeah.
Just a very chill spot.
You had me at bar.
We should We were talking about this. We should get like a crew together to like go out to Rice if they do a similar event.
If
next
they do
year.
this next year, I do think we need to bring more people. That there was a video game element I was telling you about that, like I think Joe would have really appreciated, as
Yeah.
maybe you would have appreciated.
Independent
I'm not sure.
developers.
The vendors were all great, but tell us more about Rice, Aaron.
Rice.
Yeah, so this is the third year. What was it? Last year it was in the South Wedge Mission, which is kind of like a community center slash church. That one was the best event I've ever done. I sold a ton of comics last time. I think it was just because it was a smaller event. There was less people there, and I was one of the people who had a completed story that was available at a reasonable price. So Pizza's Pizza cleaned up at that one, which is pretty cool. This one, I think there's just more variety. So I didn't get quite as many sales, but that's okay. It's because it's about chatting with the people and these other people who are out, these other crazy people out there who also make comics. But the first night, we went out on Friday and went to a talk at the Strong Museum of Play where each artist presented their work and did a short talk, and then they did a panel discussion. If the event had just been that, it would have been worth it alone.
It was excellent. The talk was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, just the people that they had up there, Tom Lake and Francis.
Ford Coppola.
No,
Yes.
we're presenting it. They had David Chisholm,
Francis Ford Coppola.
Dave
That's
Chisholm,
what I
who did Canopus. He did.
I didn't get any
Chasing
of
the Bird.
I didn't actually. I was going to hand you some stuff. I don't have any of Dave's stuff, to be honest.
I left I have a bunch of it at home. But
Dave Chisholm,
impressive.
very impressive. So, Lucas,
Yeah.
this is a gentleman who has a PhD in music from the Eastman School. I don't know if you know anything about the Eastman School of Music.
No.
It's Rochester. It's like one of the most prestigious music schools in the country.
Okay.
So, it's going to Syracuse to get your
Communications.
yeah, like but to get your doctorate, like it's very prestigious when it comes to music. So he has a doctorate in music,
Trumpet.
in
Yeah.
trumpet, jazz trumpet.
Jazz trumpet.
But then he also produces at a very high level. I'm sure you've heard of the Eisner Awards.
Yeah.
So the Eisner Awards are like the Grammys or the Oscars of comics.
Right.
Yeah.
He also produces comics that have been Eisner Award nominated. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Wow.
he's a master musician and he's also a master comic maker. And he was telling a story about several years ago, and I don't think he said who he was approached by, but basically they said you need to make a decision between your music career and your comics career, to which he said, F you, I'm doing both. And he's done both at like a superbly high level. So just to listen to somebody talk like that, like I'm always so impressed with Aaron and how productive he is and how passionate he is. And it's like, this is a guy who has two pursuits in life that he's taken to like a world-class level that it's like, wow, like
Yeah.
not only are you a masterful cartoon maker, comic maker, you're a masterful music, and then trying to combine these worlds together with this brilliant talk about just music is like, you listen to a song by who's a really crummy, like a Billy Joel.
No.
You listen to like a Billy, but the Billy Joel controls the song. That like you listen to that 5-minute song and it's Billy Joel's playing at his pace that you're listening to, and you can't influence that song at all. He's just presenting you with a great piece of music. Whereas a comic, you can spend as much time as you want on a page. You can go backwards, forwards. You're kind of in control of the medium. And his attempt to kind of mash music and comics together, which I thought was very, very interesting.
Yeah, and he's making connections between like sheet music and comic pages because they're both written formats that they're more similar, and using actual written sheet music to guide your eye through panels out of the normal sequence that you would read a comic in. He's just one of those like next level guys whose brain is just operating on a different wavelength, and he's doing some cool stuff. Canopus, another book he did, which was kind of like a psychological outer space.
Which
thing,
actually, we
was
have a copy
excellent.
of that here, actually, now that I think about it. But
Yeah, that was excellent. Somebody should come on down and get a copy of that. I bought the individual issues as they were coming out. He also did instrumental, and he's got another book coming out. It was delayed because of paper supply
shortages,
chain and paper shortage. Yeah.
Out of the Blue or Into the Blue?
Into the Blue, which is like a love letter, I think, to like all the jazz greats. And he does these collaborations with Z2 Comics and these kind of music collaborations.
Who else presented? Dave Chisholm, and who else was there? Because there was a bunch of brilliant people.
Wow, there's a lot. I feel like I have to talk about Jackie Davis. the Underpants and Overbite. She has an incredible following on
Do you need a-
Instagram. Yeah, we can grab that too. But she kind of draws these potato people. She draws herself and other people as these little potato people. Hey, she even signed it. And she does these comics on Instagram, very kind of like vulnerable, like without pretense, kind of like silly cartoons, but like gets right to the heart of the matter, like her worries, her joys.
I thought she was so funny.
Far and away the best presentation of the whole event.
All of these people were incredibly funny and had such good
Yes.
stage presence for like awkward artists because they were awkward artists.
Yes.
But every one of them had like laser fire jokes for like how awkward things were. It was very brilliant. Her presentation was great though. Basically, she did a whole comics related presentation where it was just panels that she was going through talking about how she goes about making her artwork. She's got like 140,000 followers on Instagram. And I thought that was kind of interesting that she talked about being kind of a slave to the gram, that like that's where she makes money is clicks and engagements. So she's trying to tell an autobiographical thing. Is that really washed out? Can you even see what's going on?
It's pretty washed out. Can we
yeah.
decrease the saturation on that? Or
I
the,
can't
the
right
exposure.
now, since
That's
we're
all right.
live.
That's all right.
But just very
Beautiful
interesting stuff though. This Jackie Brown who again slave to the Instagram, she said, but one of her big fears is like she doesn't want to go back to working at the coffee shop. Like she found something that resonates with people in her unique
Yeah.
art style and her unique sense of humor, and like she wants to keep going, but also there's that like I think the struggle of being like true to yourself, but also trying to get engagement and trying to, the fear of like, if people don't like this comic, then I have to go back and get a real job. And she's just a killer sense of humor.
Yeah, her presentation, it was all illustrated, and she did like a little voice for her cartoon self. I could just see that translate to so many different things. Like it could be like corporate talks, could be schools. Like I just think like the humor and the vulnerability is so disarming that makes it even funnier because even talking to her in person, there's like she is who she is. She's not putting on an act.
No, she was very
anything.
genuine.
Very genuine person. And I wish her continued success because we need more comics like this out there in the world.
Lucas, do you read
Yep.
Black Hammer?
Yep.
Did you read Black Hammer Reborn?
No, I haven't read that.
Okay. I actually got the woman who draws Black Hammer Reborn with Jeff Lemire was there. She's from Rochester. Although she recently had moved out to Portland.
Makes sense.
I think she's at the start of what could be a very big comics career.
Oh, that's
and
good.
there's a bunch of big publishers.
Caitlin
like
Yarsky.
Caitlin Yarsky. Like Image Comics is based in Portland. And what else did she say? There was another.
Image is out there. Dark Horse is out there. Oni is out there.
So I think that her thing was moving out of Rochester a few months ago to go to Portland to be closer to the creative hubs of these big independent comic companies. And man, she had actually. I wish she had more stuff to sell.
I think she
seemed-
sold out.
she sold out really fast
Yeah.
then, like super talented. So she had one copy of Black Hammer Reborn left, which I got signed for Alex Dexter. I was hoping to get a few more so I could give you a copy as well,
Alex,
because
he's higher on the totem pole.
he is higher on the
All
totem
right,
pole,
that's fair,
unfortunately.
that's fair. If it was Saga and you gave it to Dexter, I'd quit. I'd quit, dog.
But she, I mean, just beautiful stuff, and how she kind of stumbled into. She was like a illustration major at RIT maybe, and wasn't into comics, and even she kind of said she doesn't really know the world of comics, but it's something that like she's had a lot of success in because she's a phenomenal illustrator. And
Yes.
just like kind of stumbled into this, and I think that she's at the precipice of like turning this potentially into a much larger career, which I thought was very
She's
interesting.
working with Jeff Lemire in the world of comics. I mean,
Does it get much bigger than that? I mean,
especially in the climate now where indie is really the thing. We also got a chance to see
Clayton Knowles. Coles.
Yeah, he's lettered. You probably own comics if you're watching this. That he has lettered The Wicked and the Divine, Redlands, like tons of Marvel and DC stuff, tons of independent stuff, Surface, all kinds of stuff. And he was talking about lettering in the process of that and how he wanted to be an artist. He wanted to be a penciler and inker. And then he went to the Kubert School, and he did very well in his lettering course. And it just so happened that he enjoyed doing it. He was good at it. And he got in touch with Chris Eliopoulos.
Chris Eliopoulos. Who he's my favorite letterer, and he was I guess towards the end of his lettering career. And actually, Clayton Coles kind of implied that Chris doesn't even letter books anymore. He does. Have you seen the Ordinary People Change the World books that we have in the kids section? He does them with Brad Meltzer. PBS does a show, Xavier Riddle.
Okay.
He did the character design for all that. But
That's cool.
But back in time, 10 years ago, Chris Eliopoulos was in charge of Marvel's in-house lettering. So even though other letterers would work, Chris was kind of in charge of all that. And he was looking for an intern, and Clayton Cowles said he was going for, or Clayton, I keep saying
Coles.
Clayton Coles. I apologize. Clayton Coles kept saying that he was going to school for penciling and inking, but like he did much better on his lettering stuff than anybody else. And then when Chris Eliopoulos was looking for an intern, it's like, oh, like you want to start working on Marvel Comics right now? Like you're not going to draw or ink, but like we can get your hands on some Marvel books. Like what
That's
a
cool.
cool, like, okay,
Yeah.
like get me in the door. And Chris has kind of stepped away from that role of being, I think, in charge of all the Marvel in-house lettering. But Clayton has kind of filled that void to a certain degree, where I think he says he does like 20 books a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, you know, it's a lot of Marvel. He implied he does some DC as well, and then he does independent books. So
Yes.
I think he's got a variety of different projects that he works on that, you know, maybe it's the less glamorous end of things sometimes, but it's like you're an important piece of the puzzle, putting
That's
it all
right.
together, and you get to work with all these interesting people, and it was very cool, very cool.
He was very generous with his time. I got a chance to chat with him quite a bit, just about lettering and like talking about like Illustrator and other graphics programs, and a little bit about how he works his process. A little bit, he puts down the text first and builds the speech bubbles around the text, which I thought was interesting. Which is maybe something that I'm going to experiment with too. And he uses Illustrator to lay out his stuff because it's much easier to work with vectors and tails and customize things in Illustrator. I do that stuff in InDesign just to keep my brain together a little bit more, but maybe I might try it his way because I do enjoy his stuff and the different approaches that he takes. But very very nice guy, very generous with his time, and it's wild to see like one of those names that you see everywhere and just don't even think about it and be like, oh, this is the guy.
His name's on everything.
Yeah,
And the fact that he's in Rochester and just like doing this all from Rochester is kind of weird. That like,
yeah,
oh,
hour and a half.
Cool.
I mean, there were some other people there too.
the gentleman, at the end, I can't remember his name. The very enthusiastic gentleman.
Drew, I think.
Yeah.
It was Drew something, but he created superhero characters out of all the famous figures from Rochester. That was a pretty cool presentation.
Let's talk about the next day real quick, and then we'll
Yeah,
wrap
yeah.
it up.
So we tabled, and we were next to a gentleman named Nigel.
Oh, you want to do Nigel stuff
Yeah,
first?
we could do Nigel because he's got a lot of stuff.
So Nigel was an interesting guy. He's originally from Trinidad and Tobago, who
Oh wow.
moved to Rochester in 2001, I believe.
Oh wow.
And I wasn't sure how old he was. I feel like he might have been your age, Aaron, like a little bit younger than I am, maybe in his mid-30s. And I thought it was interesting that he's an electrician. That's his gig. But also he says he needs to make 2 comics a year because that's just who he is. He had a very fun, like, imagey, Todd McFarlane-y superhero style. But as the day progressed, he started breaking out other books where it's like, oh, he has a children's book that he did. And oh, he has this comic book that he drew in a whole different style with like these flat tones, colors and everything. And it was just very interesting that like he had multiple styles that he was doing, collaborating with different people. So he had his very urban gritty stuff. He had stuff for young readers. He had like everything across the board. And he was giving his stuff away. Aaron, I don't know if you
It
heard
was
what
like
he was
2 for $5.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to be like, no, this is good. You need to charge people more than that. But he was just trying to get rid of some stuff that he had, older books and things like that.
Yeah, this dude's gonna take over the world. Like,
And the fact that like he had to, when he left the event, he was going to do a gig. He had an electrical thing he was working on after I appreciate so much his hustle of like, you know, this is just my side thing. I've become this good at it that I'm damn near professional quality, if not professional quality. But also, this isn't my. You know, I need to also put food on my table, and that's why I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool guy.
That is
And I was his unofficial photographer too, Lucas. That
well,
he wanted me to take pictures of people buying his stuff, so he would give me his phone.
yeah, I've seen professional books look a lot worse than this.
Yeah, and I think he does everything for some of these books too. I think
Yeah,
he's
the color.
coloring and
Lettering and all that stuff.
yeah. So like,
Sweet.
Yeah, I really liked his Slam Dunk Sammy. I thought this was a good children's book. Just talking about perseverance and how true greatness comes from inside. A different style, like a clean line style. I think I like his clean line flat color style a bit better than the very rendered. I mean, I understand why you do this because you grow up on this.
that's what you get. I mean, it's Todd McFarlane. He influenced everybody like of our age.
Yeah. but just really prolific artist, really cool guy. Really glad that we got to sit next to him.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy. I really like talking
We
to
were
him.
sandwiched in there in between two very talented artists. We were in a pretty good spot, I think.
We were. This was the other guy that was sitting next to us.
Yeah, Kevin Delgado, who is also a cartoonist kayfabe fan, just like myself. This is his comic Tough Stuff. There's a black and white edition.
Which we found out later on that Kevin knew who you were. When I thought that was
yeah,
interesting.
that was funny. Yeah, because we both run in the cartoonist kayfabe forums or whatever you call it, the Facebook page, and we're posting stuff. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Pens and Pedals. I see you all the time." It's like, "Oh, awesome, yeah." Because I mean, I do see his stuff too. Tough Stuff, which is kind of like an ode to Canon films, like those action.
Lucas, can you just scroll down on that Discord and browser box for a second?
Just
The what?
Canon
Right
Canon
next-
films where
yep.
like a kind of a
Okay.
not the most moral or ethical cat person, kind of like taking on jobs to do different things, and like a combination between that and like Spawn. But he said it was a combination of Rob Liefeld and Robert Crumb. That's what he was going for. So it's kind
You
of
did
like
say that. That was kind of funny.
it's like Fritz the cat with an Uzi and a robot hand, kind of.
I do
very
feel like his stuff was more Todd McFarlane though, because I think at one point
Yeah.
in time he said Rob Liefeld. And
Yes,
he
I
used,
think so, too.
He used the 3 TV panel left-hand stack that Todd uses for one
Yes.
of his pages. And then one of the faces I said looked very Rob Liefeld-y, but the more I stared at it, the more I was like, no, that's just a Spawn character. That's not a Rob Liefeld character.
It did feel a little bit more like Todd McFarlane, but this is another guy who's out there hustling. Like
Hostlin. So his book Tough Stuff comes out by Source Point Press. I think he said it's going to be in the August issue of previews.
Mm-hmm.
So I said we're going to order a few of those for the store, and then we'll try to do a little bit of cross promotion with him to promote his book, because I think
Yeah.
that's cool. That like
and he had original art out there. He's doing covers for Image. He's doing these retailer exclusive covers through some different retailers. I think he also might be a tattoo artist. I'm not 100% sure.
I think he's also a tattoo artist as well.
so.
But
He's just working all the time, doing art all the time, and going to shows. I saw on his Instagram he's going to a Buffalo book fair that's happening next week, and he's doing artwork and posters of characters to give away, or not to give away, to sell. But yeah, I was just really impressed with him and his work ethic, and yeah, I think he's going to be one to watch. I think he might blow up.
Cool. Cool.
You want to do a lightning round of just some of the other stuff that I picked up? What do you
yeah,
think?
Lucas is loving this. Let's do a lightning round.
Yeah.
All right, so this gentleman
Art
was
teacher.
yeah, I had to pick this up because that's what I do. Tom Galambos. He actually taught Clayton Coles, but just this guy who's been an art teacher for over 2 decades, and it's just kind of like little vignettes, little memoirs of him teaching different subjects. You call that a clean brush? You drew this on the bus this morning, right? No, you can't eat that. Do you really think that's finished? It's just like. I just love that because it's totally in the headspace that I live in. I even had a student today be like, "Why did I get, this grade on here?" And it's like, "Well, you didn't do this, 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 and this." And they're like, "No, but I did." And it's like, No, you didn't." Like, it's like, how do I get my grade to go up? It's like, do those things that I ask you to do, and your grade will go up. But
It is funny. I bought this book off the guy, came back over to the table, and Aaron immediately got up and like ran to the table to buy his own copy, because I just knew that this would resonate with Mr. Lee.
It's my life.
sense.
It's my life. I mean, it's his life, but it's also my life. And he did this other thing too. He actually drew me on the cover of this. People I've seen at conventions, but I love this stuff. This is like little Robert Crumb type drawings of buying and selling Silver Age comics. There were a couple of those guys who showed up at the beginning. They have that kind of like that. Seems like they're just there to exploit. They're just like, how can I make money off of everything? And like not necessarily give back. It's like that guy. Be wary of this guy if you see him. And then this guy is a furry. And then here's a guy he knows. He's like, "You still making those funny kids comics?" Oh yeah, we're gonna skip that one. This guy had a cool Howlin' Wolf T-shirt, but I just love these little vignettes of these characters. Like this is a big part of why I really love comics, is to just draw like just the weirdest people. Like that's something that I get excited about. And this will be my last part of the lightning round here, but Tom Lake, one of the organizers, he and his daughter Everly do a comic together, which is awesome. So that's like something I would hope to do someday with Lucy once she's able to do that, and see if she has an interest in it. I won't force her to. But it's just these like little cute stories about literally a heart and cat. It's a heart. It's like a human heart with arms and a cat, and it's just these little stories of them just kind of chatting together, like little comic strips. Just really cute, and I think
cool.
they're all done on a risograph that he has at his house.
That's neat.
Just these little zines, and
What is a risograph?
it's like if you took a photocopier and screen printing and put them together. Like it runs one color at a time, and you run the same paper through the system
Okay.
multiple times. Or this all might just be one color, but there's all these kinds of little imperfections that happen in it that kind of give it more character and more texture. So it's become very popular in the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 years as digital printing can basically recreate everything. So the more one of a kind you can make things, there's kind of a boutique market for that as things go along. But Tom Lake, another super nice guy, one of the organizers, and he does his own stuff too. Like he had Yum Poyo and Near Death Flying Turtle, which are also fun, kind of surreal, cut up stream of consciousness type comics. But yeah, I just thought this was really cool. Just to highlight, like people of all ages can do comics. Literally, like his daughter was 6 for this, 5 for this, and 4 maybe for the first one.
Wow.
Right. So like, yeah, it's just super inspiring. I love to see that kind of stuff, and I wanted to support that.
Sweet.
And that's my haul from Rice.
Lucas, you got anything?
I got nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Give us some words of wisdom.
No.
Talk to us about your life.
No. Shop at Lowe's. How about?
We're back to that.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I was kind of looking through my haul. We got a lot of the same things. There's one book here which you can show. There's some naughty words and some naughty images. So it's up to Aaron if he wants to share that.
Yikes!
But I thought
that looks really cool.
It's really well done. It's really well done, and I just love the fun, different.
I'm not,
It's very
We'll
nice.
skip it. But
yeah, I don't know if we can put that on,
this
on
was
YouTube.
this was Eli Brandwein.
Okay.
Eli Brandwein.
Nice.
Grinning.bandcamp.com.
Check it out.
Oh, so he does music too.
Grinning. GRININNING.bandcamp.com. Actually, yeah, I'm curious about that. Oh, actually, one of the things I liked about this too is that like this was book 7 of 8. So he kind of had it like almost like a print type thing where there's like
Yes.
limited runs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the artwork in that is beautiful. It just
It's a little adult.
I
There's
don't know if it would get us flagged on the YouTube.
Which is why we'll skip it. But I don't know if you saw that one. That was really nice. A little bit more adult flavored, but beautifully done. As I throw it on.
Kind
the
of like
floor.
in like a Dave Cooper or a who's the guy who's the assistant? Of,
Hanging with
Bill
Mr. Cooper?
Sienkiewicz? Was it Al? I can't remember. Did you what else you got over there?
A lot of the stuff is what you had as well. It's kind of it, dude. I really don't have much else.
That's it.
Do we want to save? I got some stuff from the eBay. Do you want to save that for future?
Save it for next
I was
time.
about to say we're kind of running out of time here. We've gone about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's save it for next time because then we'll have
That's why
something
the audience
else.
has something to look forward to.
But I might actually have to open it in between. I'll just do a fake
Yeah.
opening. Well, I'll pretend like it's a real opening because I want to look at these.
Ah.
We might do a fake unboxing this
a
week.
movie.
All of our unboxings lately have been really lame.
They're always like,
You need to get
do you
like
mean?
you need to get one of those
What do you
cans that has
mean?
a snake in it. So you open it up and then it just.
Have you seen the ones lately where they unbox and it's the paper butterflies that come out and flap around?
No, is it? Are you lying?
No, it's like serious, like some kind of origami thing where they open up the box, and I guess it's supposed to kind of scare you a little bit, but they're kind of like this beautiful little paper butterflies that fly out. Unless it's a very well done Photoshop type thing, but I've seen a few of these things before where it looks real to me. It's real to me, damn it.
It's real to me. Just
All
like
right.
this podcast was real to me. You've been listening to the Swigo Comic Shop does a podcast featuring me, Papa Z. Lee.
I'm the employee of the month.
And I'm
Still.
very confused. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye-bye.